let's talk about React. So does anybody know what React is? What is? It's a library. Is it a library or is it a framework? A library. There are big fights on the internet. Library framework, yeah. People, hooligans, very expressive, very aggressive. It's not a framework, it is a library, so you're right, yeah? So who is the owner of React? It's Facebook, yeah? When was React delivered for the first time? 2013, yeah? 5 years ago. Almost 6 years ago. Long time. 6 years ago, JavaScript time is like 6 billion years in human time, yeah? Because JavaScript evolves so quickly. However, Facebook did a great job by creating React. Do you know who was the king of JavaScript before React? No, wrong. That was the grandfather of in between of React and BigQuery. Angular, correct? Yes, Angular. Angular was the king, and Angular was created by Google. Correct. I was one of the first Angular developers in the world. I participated in international conferences. But at some point, I realized that React was better, right? That's the thing about technology. You need to recycle yourself, yeah? So now with React, you can do amazing things. And this is what I'd like to do with you today. So, the very first thing, I assume everyone has a laptop with a web browser, with a keyboard, yeah, and all these things, yes? I'm also assuming you have Visual Studio Code, yeah? So if you have Visual Studio Code, please open it, which is what I'm going to do now. I know some people don't really like Visual Studio, they prefer Sublime, Atom, yeah, Notepad, freedom of speech. If you feel more comfortable with any other editor, that's fine, yeah? If you follow Stack Overflow, every year they publish a survey with lots of questions to the developer community. So Visual Studio Code this year is the most popular IDE. It's extremely popular because of multiple reasons that go beyond the scope of this session. One of the reasons is, do you know in which language Visual Studio Code is written? Correct. Visual Studio Code is written in JavaScript. It works really well, really well, yeah? But anyway, if you don't like it, that's up to you, right? So just feel free to use whatever editor you prefer. On top of that, let's do a couple of sanity checks. So let's prove we got Node. You know what Node is?
JavaScript runs on it.
Yeah, correct. Node is a headless way to run JavaScript. Yeah, it runs without any browser. One of the reasons why JavaScript is the most popular language in the world is not because it's easier to learn, it's not any faster, any more performance, none of that. It's just the only language that married to the web browser in 1995, yeah? Because today, not by accident, but because of circumstances that no one thought in 1995, everyone has a web browser everywhere, yeah? As a consequence, as a side effect, everyone has JavaScript everywhere, yeah? That's why JavaScript today is so popular. There is nothing compared to JavaScript. Here we train JavaScript developers who got a job quickly after the bootcamp because the industry is demanding new JavaScript developers. So yes, Node runs JavaScript in the backend, in the dark side. Yeah, we got JavaScript in the browser, colors, animations, and in the backend, APIs, security, passwords, all these sort of things, yes? So we need Node to run modern JavaScript applications. If you're not sure whether you have Node or not, simply go to a terminal. Yeah, you know terminal? If you're a Mac user, you can open terminal. Yeah, no problem at all. If you are a Windows user, you can type CMD or PowerShell if you have a recent version of Windows. And if you are a Linux user, I'm sure you know how to do it. Once you have this sexy terminal with white text and black background, if you're unsure whether you have Node or not, you can type node -- version, yeah, or the shorthand node -v, yeah, and it will tell you something like that, the version of Node you have. Yeah, to play with React, at least in the way we are going to play today, you need at least version number 8 point something. I don't remember the exact number, yeah. But if you've installed Node recently, yeah, for sure you have the latest version. The last dependency we need today is create React app. Do you know what create React app is? No one? Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. In the 90s, maybe some of you haven't even born at that time, creating a web project was very simple. Right-click, new file, index.html, yeah, index.js, index.css, and then you display your application. However, this has evolved. Now to create a boilerplating project, you need lots of files, yeah? So with Create React App, Facebook will set up everything for us, which is great to start dealing with React, yeah? You don't have to care about all the technical dependencies and everything like that, yes? It has some caveats, however. So, do you know, for instance, what was the weight of the first Street Fighter, the arcade game? Do you remember Street Fighter? 90s arcade? Yeah? It was like 8 megabytes. Do you know when you install an app with React how much it weighs in the disk? Like 350 megs, and you got nothing, yeah? So, you know, but hopefully disk space is not a problem anymore, kind of. So, assuming you got the Create React app installed, maybe you've done that already, maybe not. So if you haven't done anything yet, the first thing I would like you to do is to type create-react-app space, and then the name of the application you want to create. Yeah? That will create a new folder in your system, in the current directory, will be your home directory by definition, with all the files you need to start dealing with the amazing world of React. So you have done that already, don't do anything. If you haven't, then type the name of the application. You can type any name. That name will be the name of the folder. Yeah? So today, I would like to talk about Hollywood actors. So in my case, I did that already, but I will type something like Hollywood-actors. Yeah? And then you type enter, and you will see how lots of files are created inside of the current directory. Yeah? So that's pretty much the idea. Right. So if you've done that already, the next step is let's go to VS Code, to Visual Studio Code, and then let's start analyzing what files and folders do we have. So please open Visual Studio Code. If it's the first time you do that, then you need to click on the open folder. I'll try to zoom it a bit. Yeah, open folder, or alternatively, file open. It works as well. Yeah, easy. And then you need to find where your React repo is. Yeah, and that could be a bit challenging if it's the first time. Where did that folder get created? Yeah? So if you are a Windows user, probably by definition, that will be in your home directory in Windows. The home directory in Windows is something like, I'll type it here. So it should be something like C, and then users, and then your user ID, and then that's it. Yeah, you'll have in that folder you'll have the name of the application you have created. Yeah, if you are a Mac user, the way to access that folder will be slightly simpler, I believe. So yes, on the drop down you select the house icon, yeah, the home icon, and then in there, hopefully, you'll have the folder with your new and fancy React application, yeah? So I would like to ask you simply to select the folder, just one click, and then click on open, yeah? That's it. Is anyone lost already? No? Cool, fantastic. Cool. So, once you do that, then you will see on the left-hand side some files and folders that we'll see in a minute what they mean and how to deal with them. Before that, I would like to see if I can start a server. When we talk about modern JavaScript applications, we talk about servers. There is a server. When we start the server, the application is available. Yeah? When you go to facebook.com, it shows you some content because they have a server, or maybe they have 3,000 servers, doesn't matter, but they have something running that offers you the content, yeah? So in a more simplistic way, obviously, this is the same process. We're going to start the server. Does anyone know how to start a server in modern JavaScript?
Yeah.
How?
Nodes, and then, or if you use, well, it depends if you want to start a file, node and then file. If it's
Correct. Correct. Because Facebook did some tricks for us, fortunately, everything got simplified. So the only thing you need to do is to type one command. And now the question is, where do we type that command? I give you two options, two flavors. Sweet, sour, you prefer which one? So the first one is, because you got that already, the black screen with the white text, you can type here the command. However, I wouldn't recommend you to do that. Why? Because if you type here, then that means that you have here your server, and then you have here your code. So if something goes wrong, you need to go back to the server. It's like a tennis game, yeah? Up and down. This is not efficient. It's not productive. Here we learn how to become productive developers. So what's the alternative? The alternative is to run the command inside of Visual Studio, which is pretty awesome. And how do we run the command inside of Visual Studio? If you go to the menu on top, you will see an option View. And then after clicking on View, you will see an option about the middle, but to the bottoms, that says Terminal. Yeah? Or Integrated Terminal, maybe, depending on the version you have. So just click on that option, and you will see, another white on top of black terminal inside of Visual Studio. So that's more convenient. I don't need to keep going up and down. Everything is available, visually speaking. Simplicity is the key for success. So once we got that, the only thing we need to do is to type npm start. Yeah? npm start. This is a de facto standard in JavaScript in 2019. If you don't load any application, you can assume that if the architecture is decent enough, the server will run just by typing npm start. Obviously, this is no magic, but there is some science behind that goes beyond the scope of the session. Simply type that, press enter, and then you'll see something interesting. Two things may happen here. If it's the first time that you run that, everything should work like a charm. If you have multiple applications running in your system in parallel, you may get a message like that one, right? Unfortunately, my head is on top of the message, so you cannot see that. But let me try to move it a bit. Oh, that doesn't work. Oh yeah, it does work. You see? Would you like, there is something already running. If you get this sort of message, simply type Y. Like, yeah, whatever. Don't bother me. Just start the server, yeah? And as soon as you type that, you press enter, hopefully, you will be redirected to your default browser, and after some seconds, you get that, yeah? So that's the way to prove that your setup is correct. Your laptop is ready. You can start your successful career as a developer and make 500 a day shortly. So, does everyone manage to get that view? Yeah? This is the React logo, by the way, you see? Yeah? All good? Cool. Any problem, any question? No? Fantastic. Cool. So that's the default application, right? There is nothing apart from the logo and some text. However, look at the message here. That message is pretty convenient. Edit source/app.js, yeah, and save to reload. So Facebook is telling us how to start interacting with our simplistic app. So how do we do that? Source/app. We can go to Visual Studio, and on the left-hand side, on the panel where you have the folder tree, please open src and then app.js. Click on it, please. Yeah? Is everyone here? This is the root file of our React application. Everything will depend on that file. Do you know what language is that? JSX. That feels a bit advanced to me. In a more simplistic way, does sound any familiar to you? That code here, div, header, image, what's that? It's HTML-ish. HTML-ish. Yeah? So in other words, one of the things why React became so popular is because by the first time in history, we can play with HTML and JavaScript all together, yeah? So now it's much simpler to create applications, yeah? However, even though that looks like HTML, technically speaking, it's not HTML. There are some subtle differences, yeah? But 99% of the code is the same. So yes, to simplify things a bit, because this is our first experience with React, let's assume this is just HTML. And if you pay attention, actually, this is the HTML that generates that web page. Yeah? Look, edit source app and save to reload. Edit source app and save to reload, line number 12. Yeah? So, the first thing I would like to do is to change something, save it, and see if the browser reflects my change. This is a smoke test. Let's just see if the environment is correctly set up. So please, on line number 12, just let's change the text to something like, welcome to my React application. Yeah? Feel free to talk about whatever. Yeah? I don't mind. Just change the text and save it. Once you save it, don't refresh the browser, please. Don't do anything on the browser. Just check on the browser, and what happened? Yeah, the browser got automatically updated. Yeah, I didn't have to refresh. I didn't have to press on the refresh button. This is one of the wonderful things of modern web development. That didn't used to be like that. Yeah, that's something new. Now you don't have to refresh the browser anymore. Yeah, classic developers had to refresh hundreds of thousands of times, not anymore. Cool. So if you got that, we are pretty confident that we can start creating React stuff. Yes, one more thing. Let's talk about productivity. You remember 4.5 minutes ago, I told you that I didn't like the idea of going up and down, right? I don't like that. I don't like to navigate through my windows. I like to have everything visible. So, something I recommend, and again, I understand this is something personal, and not everyone may agree on that, but my personal suggestion is, especially if you have a decent laptop, like 14, 15 inch, is to put Visual Studio on the left and Google Chrome or your browser, whatever it is, on the right-hand side. So then you can see the source code on the left and the browser on the right. How do we do that? How do we do that? If you're a Windows user, you can simply snap a window to the left and then the browser to the right. If you're a Mac user, you can also do that. Please make sure the windows aren't maximized anymore, so they are floating. Yeah, both the browser and Visual Studio is floating. Yeah, you see? Yeah, both windows are floating on the screen, and then hold the green button on Visual Studio, hold it, keep it pressed, you see, and now I can snap it on the left or on the right, left or right. Yeah, I'm going to drop it on the left, and then Mac is telling me, okay, what do you want to put on the right? No problem at all. I want to put my Google Chrome. Yeah. So why this is so sexy? Because now, look at what happened. I'm going to update the title again. Welcome to my instead of welcome to my React application, I'm going to put welcome to codery.com. As soon as I change it, boom, yeah, immediate. I don't need to do any control tab or command tab anymore in my life. All the information, all the sensible information is accessible, yeah, on the screen. Any questions so far? No? Cool. So let's start dealing with React. I would like to talk about Hollywood actors. So I'm going to create a list of people, yeah? But again, you can talk about cars, fashion, stupid people, you know, I don't mind. The topic, just choose a topic that motivates you. Actually, that topic doesn't motivate me, so it's a bad example. But anyway, we need to talk about something, yeah? Instead of talking about algorithms, let's talk about Hollywood people, yeah? A bit of gossip, maybe, if you want that as well. So, you know, this is the very first example we got with the logo and stuff, but we don't want that, right? We want to create an application, custom, you know, with colors and stuff. So I'm going to remove the majority of the code which is in my screen. Yeah, I want to start from a blank template. I don't want any logo, I don't want anything, just a blank template. So if you notice, you can delete some lines in here. You see the header tag from line number 9 to line number 22. Yeah. So feel free to select it, select all these lines, yeah, and then remove them. Yeah. And now you got nothing. Yeah, because now we got nothing. At least our canvas is clean, is hygienic. Yeah, we can start creating something amazing. So, well, the first thing I would like to do is to set a title for my app. Yes, I would like to put a title. So to put a title, do you know how to put a heading in HTML? No? Big text. How do you put big text with HTML? H1. H1, thank you. We have coffee in the corner, right? Maybe some of you need it. So then we can put the title, Hollywood actors. Yeah? This is an example. And as soon as you save it, right, it should refresh. Oh, wait a minute. I was zooming. Sorry, that was my fault. Yeah? You got the title on top. Hollywood actors, yeah? Just the title. So far, we're just talking about HTML. There is nothing about React and, just 90s coding. But then let's start talking about people. So I would like to display one actor, yeah, with some details, the name, maybe the age, how many times he went to prison, all these sort of things. So I'm going to create a div. You know what a div is in HTML? A div is just a container, just something that surrounds, like a box, yeah? I'm telling, hey, please, I'm going to create a box with some content in it. So then I'll put some labels, first of all, with the name of the actor. Label, yeah, and then the name of the actor. Do you want to talk about any particular actor or actress? No? Okay, I'll go first. You go next. So let's talk about Tom Cruise. So I'm going to Google now, because I want to find a nice picture of Tom Cruise, yeah? There are many, always smiling, yeah? Very positive energy. Cool. Yeah, I wanted to say something, but we are broadcasting, so let's keep that for all the audiences. I'll let you know off the record afterwards, something that happened when I was working for Sky TV, and we tried to play a documentary about this Scientology, yeah? We got attacked, right? Anyway, that's a bit off topic. So let's find the smiley Tom Cruise. Let's ignore everything else. You can take any picture, actually, because we want to display that picture as part of our React application. I'll give you just a small hint. Eventually, I want to have a gallery of actors, right? Because of that, you can imagine that it would be great to have a nice layout, a nice gallery. So I'm going to make sure that all my images have the same dimensions. Otherwise, it would be a bit like a weird collage, yes? So I want to have, proper rows and columns with the same proportions, same dimensions. So with Google, you can search images of a specific size. Yeah? So if you go to Tools on the right-hand side, this is not necessary, but you can do it if you want. When you click in Tools, you can click Size, large, small images, whatever. Yeah. So then I'm going to search for images with an exact size to make sure that the following ones have the same aspect ratio. So in my case, 640 by 640, just feel free to pick a different size, and then I'll pick the next one, yeah? What's next? I want to download the image and render it in my application. So let's learn how to deal with images in React. To download the image, it's just, when you download an image to your hard drive, right? Nothing exotic. Right click, save image as, and now that's important. We need to drop the image inside of our project. Yeah. So again, you need to find where your project is in your file system. Once you found it, in my case, Hollywood actors, there is something subtle but important. In React, even though you cannot see anything from the bottom, all the resources should be inside of the SRC folder. This is a convention in the Create React App world. So just select the SRC folder inside of your main directory and save it there. Yeah. One more thing, I will personally suggest you to rename the image. By default, in my case, it's Tom Cruise 6915 blah 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 blah. Yeah, keep things simple. Keep things simple. So I'll rename the image to simply Tom dash Cruise. Yeah, and that's it. Once you save the image, if you open the Explorer on the left-hand side, you will see, probably in green color, it depends, yeah, but at least you see the image. And if you click on the image, Visual Studio will understand that this is an image, so it will display it. Yeah? Any question? No? Cool, fantastic. So now, next thing is, how do we display Tom Cruise as part of our list of actors? We need to do two things to display images in React. First of all, we have to import the image, and then once the image is imported, then we can display it. The first part is very important. How do we import the image? On top of the file, you will see few imports. That's the new way of dealing with files in modern JavaScript. You import something, so then it's available. You can import text, you can import audio, you can import CSS, whatever. Yeah. In our case, we want to import an image. So to import the image, you need to type import, unsurprisingly, and then this is important, the name you want to give to the image to JavaScript. So that should be a variable. You can type whatever you want actually now, whatever you want. I'm going to call it Tom Cruise, just for semantics. Yeah? If the image refers to Tom Cruise, it would be a bit silly to call it Donald Trump, yeah? But technically speaking, would be valid, acceptable. And then, that's the first part, import Tom Cruise, but then we need to tell where Tom Cruise is in our system. So next thing is to type from, and then with quotes, could be single quotes, could be double quotes, that's up to you, the location, the relative location of that image in your file system. I hope everybody dropped the image in the same folder as app.js for simplicity reasons. If that's the case, you can simply type // and then the name of the image, Tom Cruise.jpg, I believe. Be careful with the extension, guys. If it's PNG, whatever, yeah? So then you import the image. But now, is the image visible or not? What do you think? No, why not? Correct. We need an image tag. Again, back to 90s, HTML. In classic HTML, you need an image tag. In React, you still need an image tag. I believe that's a good thing. One of the reasons why React became so successful is because maybe by the first time in history, they didn't try to reinvent the wheel, to do things in a new way. They just reused whatever was there already. Because of that, if you already know HTML, learning React is not that complicated. That's a good thing for React. Cool. So let's drop an image tag somewhere in your HTML, hopefully inside of the div. Yeah, we're going to add an image tag. And before that, let me add the name of the actor, right? Not just the image. So the name of the actor is Tom Cruise. Yeah, it's a bit small, but hopefully you can see Tom Cruise there, yeah? And after the name, let's display the image. To display an image, simply type img, and then src, that means where the image is. This is HTML, there is nothing about React. And then there is now something important. Because we want to access a variable, we need to use curly brackets, and then the name of the variable. What's the name of my variable, guys? Tom Cruise. Yeah? Just put it in there, and then close the tag. And then Tom Cruise is there. Yeah? So we managed to successfully add an image. Let's talk a bit about programming culture. You can see the name of my variable, Tom Cruise, with capital C. Do you know, in programming, not only in JavaScript, what's the name to describe that sort of syntax? What was the case? What? No, it's camel case, correct. Why camel case? Because it does like a camel, yeah, up and down. And what happened if instead of that I use the underscore? Snake, correct. You go even more aggressively up and down. And what happened if I got camel case, but the first letter is capital as well? What's the name of that case? That's not that easy. No. That's Pascal case, correct. This is Pascal case. Why? Because Pascal is a very old programming language, and it was the first one to make that syntax popular. And the last one, what happened if I use a hyphen, dash? What's the name of that case? I accept two answers. One if you are above 50, and one if you are below 50. No one? So the classic way to call that is Lisp case. Because again, Lisp is a very old programming language, yeah? And it was popular in Lisp. However, if you go to a meetup in Shoreditch and you say Lisp case, they will invite you to leave the building, yes? No one says this is Lisp case anymore. Now this is kebab case, yeah? That's the Soho way to describe that, kebab case. Because it is like a kebab, you see the meat and the blade going through the meat, yeah? It's not a joke, it's real. Don't go to Stack Overflow and say the Lisp case anymore. Cool. And if you notice, that line now is underlined with red color, yeah? That doesn't look good. Kebab case is the only case that is not accepted in JavaScript to declare variables. I cannot create a variable with kebab case. You can do it in other languages, but not in JavaScript. Yeah? So we can use Pascal case, we can use camel case, we can use snake case. Now the question is, which one do we use? Yeah? There are some recommendations. Yeah? There are some big companies that are trying to standardize the code styling, so then everyone follows the same patterns. Yeah? One of the most important ones is Airbnb. You know Airbnb, right? Yeah, correct. So Airbnb has a very powerful style guide. And according to Airbnb, you should use camel. Yeah? Probably not because of any particular reason. It's not probably even any more readable than other cases. But anyway, it's good to follow the same style. And now we got our friend Tom Cruise in there. If you pay attention to the console, which I believe that no one did, even though it works, yeah, we got the smile of Tom Cruise on the screen, there is a warning. Look, compile with warnings. Compile with warnings. Yeah? First of all, logo is defined but never used. Yeah? So we're importing, this is the React logo. Do you remember we started with the blue logo? We don't need that anymore, so we can remove it. And finally, we got another warning. Look, image element must have an alt property. Does anyone know what that means? Alt properties? What that means?
If it doesn't show, then that's what it shows.
Correct. So, there are some special web browsers. Think about people like blind people, right? Who cannot, unfortunately, see the screen. So there are some screen readers. A screen reader doesn't know who that guy is. So we need to provide some extra information. Please bear in mind that that may change quickly because of AI. Yeah? I'm sure in the near future, web browsers, special web browsers, will be able to understand that that smile belongs to Tom Cruise, right? But still today, still in April 2019, we need to be a bit more explicit, helpful. So please add an alt attribute with the name of describing the content. Eh? So this is Tom Cruise. So Tom Cruise, yes, that's his name. Yeah. Cool, fantastic. So we got the first actor here. Now give me another actor, actress, if possible. A female, please. Female touch.
Kim Kardashian.
Kim Kardashian, correct. Is she an actress? Well, who cares, yeah? Cool. So again, let's find a random picture of this lady. The first one, the second one, that one. Same process. You see? Same process. Coding is about doing the same thing again, and again, but doing it perfectly. Yeah? So let's download the image of Kim Kardashian. again, try to rename it. Look, you cannot see anything, but the name of, it's like 100 characters. I don't want to type that manually afterwards. So I'll just rename it to Kim Das Kardashian. I'm sure with some typos because I don't know how to spell her name, but I'm sure you'll ignore that. Kardashian, yeah, whatever. I'm sure there is an H somewhere. Yeah, Kardashian. Okay, anyway, you can rename things with Visual Studio as well, yeah? Right click and then rename Kardashian, yeah? With H. Correct, so now the same thing. You can copy Tom Cruise, paste it underneath, and rename. At the moment, look at what happened. Just after copying, I got Tom Cruise twice, right? Which is not a big surprise. However, let's rename it to Kim Kardashian, and then the image. Remember, what's the first step to display an image? Import it, yeah, remember. Import Kim Kardashian from / Kim Kardashian.jpg. And then finally, on the source tag, rename it as well. Yeah? And then we got sexy Tom Cruise and sexy Kim Kardashian on the screen. Yeah? Can I rename Kim Kardashian with Boris Johnson? Yes, I can. Still works. It's weird, it's creepy, but it works. Yeah? So again, whatever you put here is okay. The name is okay. Just try to think a bit about semantics. Don't forget that every software company has at least 2 developers, you and you after 6 months. So to me, it's not acceptable. Yeah, when I review in others' code, when they say, no, the name is not good, but I'm working by myself, I don't care. No, that's wrong. Because if you review that code after 6 months, you'll say, why I call Boris Johnson to Kim Kardashian, yeah? So just please make sure that semantics are acceptable, at least, yeah? Cool, so we got Tom Cruise and Kim Kardashian. Last one, guys. Last actor or actress. DiCaprio, correct. Leo DiCaprio, no Leo da Vinci. Thank you, Google. Cool, Leo DiCaprio, right? So again, let's download this probably 90s picture from him. And then same thing. You see, by the 3rd time, Leo DiCaprio, we download it into the source folder. So then, again, same thing again. Import Leo DiCaprio from, the location of the file, Leo DiCaprio, yeah? So now we can, again, copy Kim Kardashian, paste it underneath, change the name. I don't know if the last name goes together or not, I don't mind. And finally, let's try to display the name and the image. Here you go, right? We got our 3 actors. It works fine. It's all good. But now, imagine that this is our application. We got some investment, so we start working professionally on it. But we have our investors who are playing already with the application. They realize that they struggle to see the name of the actors and actresses. Yeah, you can see that even though the title has a decent size, who is that guy? It's complicated to read the text from the bottom, right? So they ask us, please make the title bigger, yeah, of each actor. So we said, no problem at all. We can go to the label and add, for instance, an H2. H2 is another title in HTML, which is bigger than H3, but smaller than H1, you see? But it still looks better now, right? The title, the name of the actor looks bolder. It's easier to read. Our usability has improved. So then we said, okay, that works fine. Let's do that again for Kim Kardashian. And then finally, let's do that again for Leo DiCaprio. Yeah? So even though we manage the expectations of our business investors, yeah, it's all good. What happens once we have 3,000 actors and actresses? Are we going to go one by one and change the size of the text? Clearly not. Yeah, clearly not. And that's why now, in the next minutes, I would like to introduce the concept of components, which is probably the most important aspect of React. With React, you can reuse a piece of code as many times as you want. Yeah, that's why React is so popular. It encapsulates your functionality really, really well. So how do we do that? Look, on top of the file, probably after the imports and before the class application, somewhere in between, I'm going to create a JavaScript function. So how to create a JavaScript function? Type function. Then the name of the component, I'll call it actor. Yeah. And that function can return, so you can type return, so it will display something. Yeah. So let's do just a silly test. Let's see if we can display hello, h1 hello. Yeah. So once we create that function, which is something we can display as many times as we want, at the end of the journey, this is just an HTML tag in React world. In other words, you can go to your main component and look, after the main title, Hollywood Actors, look at what I can do. Just a normal tag, an HTML tag, you see, actor. Yeah, note the symbol, the HTML symbol, and you can see we got hello. Can I copy that 10 times? Of course. Yeah, we can reuse a piece of code trivially. Yeah. That's the way you create components in React. You create a function, you give a name to the function, and you return a piece of HTML. Yeah? In the long term, that will be a bit more complicated, but at least this is the basics of how to create components with React. So now, I don't want to display hello, obviously. I want to display a list of actors in a reusable way. So look at what I'll do. I'm going to cut Tom Cruise, and I'm going to replace the content of the actor. You see? So now my actor displays Tom Cruise. Yeah? Why? Because now I can come back to my main component, and if I display actor, it displays Tom Cruise. So now, what happens if we replicate the same process for Kim and Leo? Let me hide it, because otherwise it will spoil the result. Look, I got one actor, two actors, three actors. What will be the result? Tom Cruise will display twice, 3 times. Yeah, let's have a look. 1, 2, and 3. In other words, even though we managed to reuse code, which is sexy, unfortunately, not every actor is called Tom Cruise. Yeah, every actor will have a different name. Every actor will have a different picture. I hope we agree on that. Yes. So now, how do we make that component dynamic? This is very, very important. In React, you can pass a list of attributes to customize the look and feel of the component. For instance, I'm going to pass an attribute called name equals the name of the actor, Tom Cruise. And I'll do the same thing for the others. This is just HTML. Nothing new so far. Kim, Kardashian, and finally, Leo DiCaprio. Yeah? Will this work or not? What do you think? Why not? Correct. Even though we are sending different data to our component, yeah, in reality, look, the component didn't care. The component is still aiming to display Tom Cruise 3 times. So if we see what happened, nothing has changed. Tom Cruise, then Tom Cruise, and finally Tom Cruise again. Yeah, not good, not good. So now the question is, how do we tell the component, hey, I'm sending you the name of the actor, please don't hard code the name, just trust the information that I'm going to pass you. So the way we do that in React is, inside of the parentheses, yeah, parentheses, which is an American term that you don't use here, you can pass something. You can pass something that the React community call it props. You can call it however you want. Huh? But according to the standards in React, you should, for semantics purposes, you should call it props. P-R-O-P-S. And props is an object. If you don't know what an object is, I will invite you to attend any of our Introduction to JavaScript series, where we talk a lot about JavaScript. For now, just bear in mind that we can replace Tom Cruise with the following. Open curly brackets, close them, and inside put props dot what? Name, correct? Because that's what we are passing at the bottom. And look, Tom Cruise, Kim, and Leo, looking good, looking promising. We managed to interact with our components. Yeah? But now, even though the name is correct, yeah, I'm not sure if Kim Kardashian would like to look like Tom. Yeah? So how do we tell our actor component, okay, you did a great job, you changed the name, however, you should also change the image. How do we do that? Can we pass another attribute called image, for instance? Yes, we can, right? So we can pass another attribute and then refer to the name of the image we're importing on top. Image Tom Cruise. The next one, image equal, remember the curly brackets, guys. Curly brackets everywhere. Kim Kardashian. And finally, image Leo DiCaprio. Yeah? Will it work or not? Yes? No? Why not? Correct. We got the same issue. Even though we are sending not one, but two attributes, two properties to the component, our component, it looks after the name, but look, the image is still hard-coded. Yeah? So if we check the result, still Tom Cruise, yeah, always there, always there. So how do we display the image dynamically? Where do we put that?
We replace it in the ASR.
Correct. In the SRC, remember SRC, not SCR. On the SRC attribute, we should put props dot what? Image, correct. Yeah, and now look, boom, here we go. We got 3 different names with 3 different images. Yeah. Why this is so sexy? Well, before explaining that, is that code perfect? What do you think? Look at the actor component. Will you change anything? Correct. Our screen readers still think that we are always talking about Tom Cruise. You see? How do we make that dynamic as well? Correct. The same thing, right? Props of name. It's not that complicated, right? Cool. Fantastic. So we got all the free names with all the free images. So now if business comes back to us and said, I want to change the size of the title, I want to make it smaller of each actor. Before, we spent 2 months of our life updating 3,000 titles. However, now, how many times we have to change it? How many? If we want to change the size of the title of each actor, of the name, how many times, how many lines of code do we have to change? One, correct. Because everything is encapsulated here. So I change it once, and then pop. 1, 2, 3. If we got 3,000 actors, the same. 3 million actors, the same. We are creating reusable code, which is something absolutely amazing. Yeah? Any questions so far? No? So I have the last question for you. That will be the last exercise before doing a bit of practice. So the very last question is, because our application is becoming very successful and we got millions of customers and stuff like that, we want to talk a bit about gossip, how old if each actor is or actress. Yeah? So business wants to display the name of the actor and then with parentheses how old that person is. How would you do that? Props.age. Okay, let's do that. After the title, let's display props.age.
Oh, we need to pass it.
Correct. Now it works on the other way around. Our component is ready. However, where is that information here? It's nowhere. Yeah. How do we pass it? H, and then what?
Number.
Number, 45, like that. No.
Equal.
Equal, yeah?
String.
String, 45, right? Is Tom Cruise 45? Probably not. How old is he? Any betting?
Higher.
It's high, I think we all agree on that.
57.
How old? 87. Oh, God. Right. 56, yeah? You Google it. You know, I've been doing probably 500 interviews in my life to candidates, and when you ask something, you can clearly see if they know the answer of they're Googling, yeah? How do you create an object in JavaScript? And you hear on the phone, yeah, typing. And suddenly after 30 seconds they give you an amazing answer. Yeah. They Google, they don't pass the interview. Anyway, 56 years old, fantastic. How old Kim Kardashian is? Don't Google it. 38. 38, I have no idea. I don't know if she's 20 or 50, I have no idea. Kim Kardashian. Age. 38, you know that? Oh, cool, that's fantastic. By the way, you know that now Google, because probably so many people want to know this gossip, gives you the result straight away, right? So now they have improved a lot the usability. Yeah, 38. And how old Leo DiCaprio is? 44. How do you know these things? It's 44. Look, he's right. He's right. Look. I type Leo D, and yeah, Google. Yes, he already knows what I'm going to ask. Yeah, he knows I'm a pervert person. I'm asking weird questions, creepy questions. Yeah. Cool. 44, correct. And now actually, boom, it works. Yeah, it works. Tom Cruise 56. Kim 38. And finally, Leo. Oh, what is Leo? Why Leo doesn't work? Maybe it didn't go refresh. Sometimes the browser doesn't pick the changes, but if you refresh, pop, then it's all good. Yeah? Is there any question? No? So, this is the first part of the workshop that, again, you can rewatch in our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. That will help us to continue doing these events. And then, on the next 15 to 20 minutes, I would like to show you something very sexy. So, as I mentioned before, at Codiri, we do coding all the time. We do so much coding that we have created our own coding platform, created by us and maintained by us. So what that means, this is completely free, that's why we are announcing it here. We're not making any business, but we'll appreciate if you participate on it. So, I will ignore Visual Studio, we don't need it anymore. Now we're just going to do online coding, and you are more than invited to do it with us. Yeah? So I would like to go to codiri.com, and you will see, once the page renders, that there is a play button, yeah, in the middle, big button, play. So if you click on play button, then you get redirected to the sign up page, where after, just creating an account, which is completely free, then I got an account already, obviously, so then you can start dealing with JavaScript. So what that means? That means a few things. Let me give you a quick overview on the platform. So in here, we can essentially test our JavaScript and React skills. So I would like to do, if you go to training, yeah, you can train JavaScript and you can train React as well. The React is completely new. We open it this month. At the moment, it's still private for bootcamp members. Yeah. However, we do here at least one coding challenge a month, which is completely free, and everyone can join it regardless of whether you are a member or not. Yeah. So the training at the moment is still on private beta. However, if anyone is interested to participate and to get feedback, let me know. Drop me a message on Meetup or on the email, and we can give you access. Yeah, all good, no problem at all. But anyway, now because I have an admin user, let's do some training. So once you select React, you can play 3 levels of difficulty. Yeah, beginner, people who is starting with React, intermediate, people who is working professionally, like a junior developers and stuff like that, and then expert, team leads, rock stars, big people. So let's do a bit of beginner, obviously. Once you select the topic or the level of difficulty, you get few topics. Yeah, so you can train your React skills across different topics. So let's do, which one do you want to do, guys? Let's do render, and if we got time, we'll do props. So if you select one topic, essentially, this is the platform where you train your skills. So you got a question on the left-hand side. So the question here, let's read the question. Let's try to understand it. So we're expected to create a welcome component. Do you remember we created the actor component? So now we want to create a welcome component that whenever we render it, it should display welcome to React, something very silly, very fundamental. If we still struggle to understand how this works, we got some resources, we got dedicated videos where you can get some advice about how to deal with that. And then what? On the right-hand side, look, we got the welcome function already there, so we simply have to type the text. Welcome to React. Yeah, very simple, just to get used to how the platform works. By the way, we got, inline help, so here we tell you how to deal with the different elements. I'll skip that for now. So then, let's evaluate that. Do you think, guys, the solution is correct or not? Do you think that on the right-hand side, we are typing the text that we have been asked on the left-hand side? Do you think the text matches or not? Why not? Correct. Coding is about paying attention to details. Imagine that we don't notice that small thingy. Let's evaluate it. Yeah? So now we are compiling the code, and then we realize that, oh, wait a minute. It's red, that proves it's not correct. We're highlighting the line that fails, yeah? And then, oops, you return welcome to React. Hey, wait a minute, it's the same. But then as someone spotted, ooh, exclamation mark, yeah? It's missing, exclamation mark missing. No problem at all. Let's put the exclamation mark at the end of the line. Let's evaluate it again. Let's see if now it's correct. We show, while you wait for 2-3 seconds, some historic figures about JavaScript and coding. Yeah, now it's green, it's all good. However, do you think that line is perfect or not? Any thoughts? If we are not sure, if we look at the bottom on the right-hand side, we've got something called Elegance Console. That seems silly, but this is one of the reasons why our students are way more prepared on the market than other bootcamps in London, because we look after standards. So this is not because we think we should put semicolons at the end of each line. It's because there is a standard called ESLint that evaluates how industry standard your code is. And according to them, you should put a semicolon at the end of each line. No problem at all. Let's just put a semicolon. Yeah? And once we do that, we evaluate again, and then we'll see what happened. Cool, still works. We haven't broke it at all. No elegance issues. So now the solution is perfect, is clean, is sexy. That means that this is the first question out of 5. So let's have a look to the next one. Question number 2. And let's see what we get there. On question number 2, slightly more complicated, yes? Let's read the problem. So again, we have a welcome message. And that welcome message is expected to have 2 P tags. Does anyone know what a P tag is? Paragraph, correct. Paragraph. That's a semantic tag in HTML. Yeah, this is very old, from the 90s. Yeah, I don't think it's trendy anymore, but still there. Yeah. So we are expected to create 2 paragraphs. On the first one, we said welcome. Fair enough. On the second paragraph, we said to React. Yeah. So how do we do that? We got the first one. How do we do the second one? Can we just copy it and say to React? Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So why we use that weird syntax? Because this is the way that professional React applications are tested. Yeah. This is using Jest under the hood, which is the official testing framework for React. And actually, on the right-hand side, that editor that you are using already, does anyone know what technology that editor is using? Who is creating that editor? I didn't do that by myself. Someone did that. Correct. This is Visual Studio Code. Because if you remember, 57 minutes ago, we said that Visual Studio Code is written in JavaScript. One of the beautiful things about JavaScript is that you can create something once and you can deploy it, use it anywhere afterwards. This is a good example. Microsoft, who is the owner of Visual Studio Code, had the idea of open source the project. So now everyone, like me, can take the code and embed it and drop it into the Codere platform. Why this is great? Because with Visual Studio Code there are lots of shortcuts. I can copy lines, I can move lines around, I can do lots of tricks to optimize my productivity. Lots of tricks, many tricks. Yeah. Anyway, let's see, will this work or not, guys? What do you think? Is now correct? No one complains. I'll take that as that's beautiful, that's sexy. So let's evaluate it and see if it's correct or not. That's correct. Yeah, it's green. It's all good. Yeah. So no elegance issues found. Let's do one more question if you don't mind. So let's do question number 3 and let's see what we have here. So on the question number 3, ooh, interesting. Let's talk about basketball stars. Yeah. So that's a similar example, but in reality, if you pay attention to details, now we want to access elements in a different way. Does anyone know what that dot means? Correct, CSS. Yeah. So in here we learn how to deal with classes, CSS classes, styling. Yeah. So look, the problem is slightly different. We already got the divs, so the structure, the content, the text is already filled. However, we need to add class names. How do we add a class name to Michael called first name? Class or class name? There is a bit controversial here, yeah? So in HTML, it's clearly class. Yeah? However, at the beginning of the session, we said this is very similar to HTML, 99%, but there are some subtle differences. Yeah? This is a classic job interview question that we prepare here. Is React written in HTML? Almost. This is a good example. In React, you cannot use class. Yeah? Because class is a keyword in JavaScript. So you need to find an alternative. If you try to use class, React will understand that we are starting with using the library and say, welcome to React, please don't use class. Please use class name. Using, what case is that, guys? We learned that 37 minutes ago. Camel case, correct. Camel case, capital N, big N, huge N, yes? Cool. So the first class name is first name, fair enough. Let's put that. First name. And the second is probably last name, right? If the exercise is predictable enough. Cool. What do you think? Will this work or not? I'll tell you something. I believe two things, and I'm 93% sure about that. First of all, it will work. However, we'll get an elegance issue. Can anyone see where the elegance issue is? Semicolon in which line? 7. That's absolutely correct. Where? Here. After. That's an emoji, right? There. Correct. Semicolon. Yeah, that makes the difference between a good developer and a great developer. So let's evaluate that and see what happened. Cool. It works. And then any issue? Let's go down slowly. No issues at all. Yeah, fantastic. So these are the first 3 questions. I'll skip the next 2. You can skip questions if you get bored or whatever. Yeah. And at the end, I didn't submit the 3rd one. So let me submit this one. And follow us on Twitter, why not? And at the end, you can review the results, blah, blah, blah. And now, why we do all these things? Because look at what happened when you submit it. you get a score. The score is telling you how good you are with React. Yeah? What are we evaluating here? Several metrics. Tenacity, how many questions you completed. Accuracy, how many times you submitted and you failed. Yeah? You will see people scoring 0 here. This is what we call a Street Fighter mode. You remember Street Fighter? When you start playing, just hitting the buttons like hell, trying to defeat your rival. This is Street Fighter mode. Speed, how long it took you to complete the challenge. Focus, how many times you went to Google to get help. And elegance, how many semicolons and wrong indentation and things like that. Industry standard. Why do we do that? Because at the end, something we do here often, and I know some of you have been doing that several times, we do coding challenges, which are very popular already. So coding challenge means everyone is solving the same questions at the same time. So we've been doing some international coding challenges. We went to Amsterdam recently and we play, look at what happened. You see here, you can compare good guys, senior developers side by side. So you can see who is the boss, who is the king or the queen of the challenge. Yeah? And you can also check the results. So we try to make a big show, right? So who finished at the bottom, then position number 7, number 6, blah, 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 yeah? As part of our sessions, we also compare the code side by side, which is a very educational activity. You see, for each question, don't try to understand that. This is not trivial anymore. But anyway, for each question, you can see, first of all, who is right and who is wrong. And on top of that, that person on the right-hand side, probably he learned that there is a simpler way to solve the same problem. You see, his colleague took 30% less lines of code. Yeah. After the challenges, you go on the leaderboards. Yeah. So we got lots of developers, and then you can see the progression of each of them. Yeah. So you can go through all the list, and then you can even check the details of any of the players. Yeah. How many challenges that person has played, average score. Yeah, and finally, something we introduced last week, literally, is the Hall of Fame. The best developers, yeah, across time. Best developers of the day, of the week, of the month. Historical, actually, you know that guy. That guy is pretty famous, in case you don't know him. He's a Google employee from Norway, yeah. He's a beast of coding. Statistics by country, you know, many different things. We also compare our own bootcamps on average, which is the best cohort, right? So at the moment, the spring guys trying to fight. I'm sure they will progress a lot. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. So again, this is completely free. You can do JavaScript training. You can start from the very basics. And then if anyone is interested on joining, we do the next bootcamp starting on the 3rd of June, yeah, which hopefully is your first step in a successful professional career as a developer. Yeah, you know the advantages of coding professionally. You can make big money, you can work from anywhere in the world, yeah. So it's now great timing, especially if you're based in London, because the market is boiling, literally. So I don't want to say anything else, just thank you very much for coming today. Thank you, of course, to Walter, Sar, Vivian, and Nico. I'll be here for a while, so there are some beers, some drinks, so feel free to stay. And thank you very much, and looking forward to see you soon. Cheers, guys, thank you.